Hi, my name is Josh Brolin, and I feel so Don Cheadle about being on Conan O'Brien's friend.
You know what? You came in with this Don Cheadle energy today. Wasn't that the first thing
Cheadle's
I said?
a badass.
Yeah.
The first thing I said is,
it's a little Cheadle-y.
First thing I said, I'm getting a little Cheadle here. I'm getting a little Cheadle from Josh Brolin. That's
Seriously.
what I said.
I don't even know what that means. What does it mean?
Who knows?
Badass, horny.
You feel horny? Nice.
No, I don't feel horny. I do feel Don
I think
Cheadle,
you're
though.
excited to see me.
I am excited. I'm really excited. There's one thing is you and I, she just told me that the first time I went on your show was for Flirting with Disaster.
Yep.
And I think, which I'm much less nervous now. I still get nervous, but not really. I don't care as much now.
Yep.
But back then I told a story about how my dad's so good looking that I told him I wanted to have sex with him or something like that. And nobody got it. I still think it's funny.
It is funny.
It is funny because it's your dad. And of course you don't want to have sex with your dad. And somebody that's that good looking, even the son would want to have sex with him. Every angle I look at it from, it's still funny. And literally you and I were like, you went, and I looked out and everybody was like, like nothing.
You know what? It was a different time.
It was a different time.
Was a different time, and you were way ahead of the curve. That wasn't on
Thank you.
That was on that audience that
appreciate
night. It was a bad audience. I remember them fuckers.
Or they didn't give a fuck what I had to say.
I'm going to start, because I have to say this right away. Yeah. And I'm going to address my cohorts here. Mr. Brolin here, Josh Brolin, has written a book, and I told him this backstage, and I want to say it right here, right now. Many celebrities write a book, or known people write a book, and you look at it and you go, okay, they cranked this out. This is a beautiful book. This is a really beautiful book. What are you doing?
I'm just video recording it.
We're recording this the whole time.
He has a YouTube channel. But
He has a YouTube channel.
No, I don't. I won't use this for anybody other than my own ego.
Okay, there you go. This is a gorgeous book, and it's really powerful, and it is brilliantly written. And I read this thing and I thought there was so much in it that I did not know about you. It's fantastic. It's great. And it's called Josh Brolin, a memoir from under the truck. I didn't know all this stuff about you, and you jump around in time. You talk a lot about the different experiences you had on different projects, and there's a lot to talk about here. But the thread that runs through this whole thing is your mom.
Yep.
And it is very powerful stuff. Man, is she a character.
She is a character.
And
she was a character, is a character, continues to be a character.
It's so interesting because one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think I've probably told you this hundreds of times, ad nauseum, but No Country for Old Men, is one of my all-time favorite movies, and your performance in it and Javier's performance in it.
Incredible.
But I watch that movie again and again and again and marvel at it. And this, what I never realized is that your character, Llewellyn, is much closer to you and the way you grew up than I ever knew. Which is fascinating.
In what way? In what way did you mean?
Well, you grow up, I mean...
Oh, you mean ranch and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. First of all, your life, and there's so many passages in this book where you're taking care of animals, you're living on a ranch, you're living in this incredibly rural environment. You've got this life that was much manlier than anything I've ever experienced. I'm sorry. I had a butterfly net. Occasionally I'd go outside with my butterfly net. And then my mother would say, get back inside, the sun's out. So your mom, let's talk about your mom, because she's runs through this book, and she died very tragically. I believe 1995 is when you lost your mom. But she jumps off the page in this book because, and it's very unconventional. She's not a conventional mom in any way. You guys are drinking buddies pretty much at an early age.
Yeah, I think I say it in one of the, chapters, if you will, which we decided toward the tail end of this to put in chapters to make it followable, or just, stories that you could kind of note and go back to. But there's one that said I can't remember exactly what it says, but it says something like I was created in her kind of likeness to be a drinker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was kind of like a surrogate husband, so to speak. My dad was, they got married in 12 days. After 7 days, I think it was 7 days, they sat down, they had a scorpion drink, one of those massive cups between them. My dad was reeling from a recent breakup, and my mom, with her voice, that Texan voice, they were, drinking it up, and she looked up and she goes, "Well," and my dad's like, "Yeah," and she goes, "Are we going to do it or what?" And he was like, "Do what?" And she said, "Get married. Are we going to do it or what?" And he got so kind of, perplexed and confused and nervous that he just said, "Yeah, I guess." And she said, "Okay." And she started planning it at that moment.
Wow.
And 5 days later, they were married.
Of course, your dad, very well-known actor, James Brolin, and
super handsome.
Super handsome. I mean, I'd fuck him.
Yes, now full circle. Full circle.
I have. Braggart. You're not supposed to talk about it.
He said it was okay.
But it's interesting because
it's a new era.
Because we live in this era where people talk about Nepo and you're the child.
That's like the new thing.
Yeah, that's the new thing. Yeah. I'm saying that you're the child of celebrity. Mm-hmm. You read this book, your dad.
And you're like, where the fuck is the celebrity?
Yeah. Your dad is not.
That's kind of the point.
Your dad kind of is not really in the picture that much. He's very peripheral. Your mom, you say, my childhood was on a leash of the whims of my mother.
Right.
And that you were sort of told to be, you're going to be the man of the house, even though you're a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And
didn't matter to her.
Yeah. And then you live this life that is completely different. I mean, you are on a ranch. There's like 22s, rifles. The life you're living is not that of a kid who's growing up in any kind of privilege.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. And that's the thing that, either people are really interested in or they're not interested in. To me, I know that I've fought the idea of celebrity my whole life, even though I didn't grow up in LA. Everybody thinks I grew up in Malibu. Right. I didn't grow up in Malibu. And then you imagine what happens on a set and you think it's this perpetual red carpet and you're just waving literally your entire life.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
There is a perception of,
yes.
I was just on the phone with my lit agent, Kimberly Witherspoon, this morning, and I was like, I'm spinning. Like, you saw me, I felt it get uncomfortable when you said those nice things about the book. I got teary. This means the world to me because it's me being naked about the realities of the life that I've lived and the life of a lot of other celebrities that I know. There's no. And it's not that it's looking for compassion. It's not. But there's no compassion in that. There's no just like, you guys have the same problems. No, you don't. You live in a bubble. You all live under the same apartment complex. And you just go, what are you thinking?
Right.
What are you thinking? What about the life of this kind of unconventional life of this guy who was germinated, unbeknownst to anybody, that it was going to be this, into an artist who just found creativity as an outlet,
mm-hmm.
got attached to it. The self-destructive part of him grew and grew and grew with it. And then somehow through having kids and all that, found his way out of the self-destruction.